Welcome to another episode of Talks with That Wine Guy. My name is Al Giro, and today's episode is very special to me. We have a big one. We have a big name in. I just had to, seeing we're coming to the end of season one, we had to make sure we have at least someone like Mr. Denzel Swartz. Denzel, thank you for your time and welcome.
Thank you very much, AJ. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be on your show. I've been watching you from the side, so it's good to be invited.
Lovely, lovely. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start. We're not gonna waste any time. We want to know. Look, everybody knows Denzel Swartz, but we want to know what made you decide to go into the wine industry.
Listen, AJ, it's as a child growing up, and for me it was always looking and seeing this huge difference between people of color being the general workers, and our white colleagues in the industry being in more senior positions. And as a child, I always wondered
Yeah.
why that question of why came up, but also the how can we change it, and that gave me this drive to want to go and study wine, and to be actually get into a more senior position in the wine industry to change that why question. And that kind of drove me to where I am.
Yeah, so that's also good. And look, Denzel is an inspiration to me, not only me but to many others as well. And from starting the tasting room, of course, to being where you are now, a whole brand ambassador. What makes it? What's the difference between it?
Yeah, so I'd say, of course, in the tasting room. So me starting off cleaning toilets and buffing glasses. That's
Yeah, we
that's
started
that's,
there.
that's where let's take it back in the vineyard,
Yeah.
knocking off the snails. That's where it started, right? So, but growing in that space is to learn more about wine and to break kind of the barriers around how we see wine as people of color. We've always been exposed to wine as the destroyer of our communities, as the destroyer of our families, and having to get to a point where you become comfortable with
Yeah,
wine.
yeah.
So I think being in the tasting room allowed me to become comfortable about wine, and to also realize that it's the choice that we make,
Yeah.
and that relationship with wine, and not the other way around.
Yeah,
Wine
yeah,
is not to destroy our families.
course not.
It's the choice of taking wine and overconsumption.
Educating people
You know?
about it.
And now, rather than teaching people about wine in the tasting room setup, where a guest comes in and you serve them and tell them about the wine, I'm now a brand and sales executive. So now I'm on the other side. I'm developing the product, developing packaging, establishing the brand. So it's a bit more of the high level strategic
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
around the brand, rather than just talking about it.
Yeah. Interesting. That's an interesting. Next question I have for you, Mr. D. What makes you? Of course, you are a brand ambassador and executive sales, but what makes you the proudest of being in the South African wine industry? Look, South African wine industry. Many people say that we still have a long way to go to be one of the best, but which I don't agree. I think we are already one of the best. But what makes you proudest of being in the South African wine industry, and what does it mean to you?
I think, AJ, if we just look at the South African wine industry, we are so diverse, not just in people, in cultures, but also in wine styles. You know, yeah, we have Chenin Blanc and Pinot Noir, which kind of roots us in the wine styles that South Africa is. But actually, we have a whole lot of other cultivars, and just that in itself is a special moment. It's special to be in an industry where you actually come together
Yeah.
as a whole,
Yeah.
and say, you know what, how do we grow together in this space? And I think that growth opportunity that there is in this space is what makes me more excited.
Lovely. That's good to know. I think Mr. Denzel and I have talked a lot now. I think we're just going to take a small break. We're just going to fill up our glasses a bit more and then we'll catch up right after this. back. I hope you enjoyed the wine break. Filled up our glasses, not quite to the brim again, but just enough to keep the conversation going. Then just tell me, how long have you been in the industry, like, as a whole? Like,
So as a whole, I've been in the industry for just over 15 years. Just to remember that I grew up in the wine space. So I grew up on the farm as the third generation in my family. So, but working in this space just over 15 years.
oh. And what are some of the positive changes and some of the negative changes that you've encountered in the industry?
I think for me, let's talk about the positive first, because sometimes we
Not
want to
always,
focus
yeah, too much on the negative side.
So the positive for me has been the growth of young people growing up on farms, growing up in communities where wine is considered an evil,
Yeah.
and really coming in and experiencing wine for its quality, experience it for its stories.
What it is, yeah.
And for me, that is great positive. And also seeing at all levels of the wine industry, there is a big shift and change of people of color stepping up in those positions.
Okay, that's cool. That's the positive changes that you've seen in the industry. And what are some of the changes that you would like to see for yourself, or what is the mark that you want to, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Yeah, so AJ, for me, the legacy is to ensure that people start seeing their own value within their space and living out that value in the wine space. I think there's so many people that grow up on wine farms, that have worked on wine farms for so long, and they don't understand the power of themselves and the power of education that they have, and how to take that education and knowledge and actually create a better future for themselves in the space. And for me, that is the legacy that I want to leave. And that's why I spend a lot of time with my foundation, making sure that farm kids complete school, because when I get them to matric, they're much closer to university, and then they can go out and live out their
And be
lives.
the best themselves that they can be.
Yeah.
What do you think, Denzel? Because you've been in the industry so long and you've been such a iconic person in the industry and in the community as well. Like I said, for myself as well, because you're one of the mentors I have in the industry. What do you think? What do people think when they hear Denzel Swartz?
I hope only good things. I think people kind of say that I'm a person that sticks to my values, that go for what I want, and I'm hoping that's really what they are thinking. That I'm a change maker, that I'm a breaker of barriers, that I'm rebellious when I need to be, in a very positive way.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that's what they think of me.
And you just touched on your foundation that you have, and also, of course, you have your own wine brand as well. So, if people would like to support the foundation, they'd like to purchase the wines, where can we go and purchase that, or how can people make a contribution to the foundation?
So AJ, they can make contribution directly to the foundation. It's the Son of the Soil Leadership Foundation. And our wines are now falling as part of my bigger brand for the owners that I'm working now with Zoetendaal Vineyards. So you can order the wines directly from Zoetendaal Vineyards as well.
That's interesting. That's cool. That's quite nice. So what is next for Denzel? I know you've always been on the move. You've always been busy with things. But where to from here? Where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 5, 10 years?
So let's take 5 years. In the next 5 years, I really see myself growing this brand called Zoetendaal Vineyards out in Elim. We're in a small missionary town out in Cape Agulhas. It's 3 hours from Cape Town, so we consider it to be off the radar.
Yeah.
However, it's the most exciting wine region to be in at the moment. And for me to establish that brand and to grow it, because I get the opportunity now to rear the small baby into becoming a really big brand in the industry. So that's my 5 year. In the next 10 years, we never know. You might be experiencing Denzel Swartz at his own property.
Lovely. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear. That was Denzel Swartz, ladies and gentlemen, pioneer in the industry, legend in the making. And I can continue, and I'm sure many people will agree with me. Denzel, thank you very much for for your time once again. It's always nice catching up with you.
Thank you very much, AJ, for the work that you do. I think we take for granted that yeah, you sitting with me and interviewing me, but you telling fundamental stories which inspire and give hope and hopefully change lives of other young people and people in wine in general. So thank you for doing this. It's important. So I think it's safe to say let's clean it glass.
Take a glass and that.
There
Here we are. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your neighbors, with your best friends, even the enemies. They would love to watch it as well. Tot volgende keer. Laat die paal maar even op.